For more tips and tricks, don't forget to hit that button and subscribe. Also, ring the bell so you can get notifications anytime I have new videos. Make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to give away 2 entire kits. That means you get an Easy Pro Texture gun, which is super cool. You're going to have 2 bags of orange peel texture and a mixer for paints. And this is going to blow your mind. Check it out at the end of the video, drop a comment, and you could be a winner. I almost forgot. We're also going to give away an entire kit with a tank. And we're going to choose that winner 1 month from the date up above. You could win this 2-gallon tank with a 1-horsepower motor, and it's super quiet. Check this out. All you have to do is watch a 1.5-minute video. At the end of this, we'll have a link. You go to that one and drop a comment. Welcome to Paul's Toolbox. I'm Paul Ricalde, and today we're going to cover door casing. Sometimes it doesn't line up well. You'll see one protrudes further than the other one, or vice versa, and then you'll have your gaps in the corners. You don't want that. You don't want to have to go running back in there trying to fill it in with caulk because it never looks perfect. You're going to make this look perfect because I'm going to show you how. Right here we have the drywall that protrudes past the door frame. So this is a problem, and it's sticking out a good bit past, probably a 1/4 inch on some spots. That's not acceptable. They had a blob of caulk on some of these spots. It looked terrible, so I took all that out. I'm going to show you how to address that. You want to have this flush on the frame, especially with wide molding, because it's going to shift like this to the wall or the door. That's how you have gaps in there, so we don't want to have gaps. On this side over here, we have a couple of spots where the door sticks out a little bit further than the wall. That's easier to address. We can just shim it in the back side. And it's easier if it's not a 1/4 inch like this. It's easier if it's smaller amounts. You can just put a little shim behind it, and when we put our door casing on here, you shim it on the wall and you run a bead of caulk and you'll never notice it. But a 1/4 inch, that's pretty hefty. We're going to take this right here and I'm going to show you the problems you'll have and how we can address them. You see that gap? That's what we're going to eliminate. You want this to sit right onto this frame, and it's not going to do it with that drywall sticking out that far. Normally you just have an assistant, someone with an extra hand, to hold one end up while you mark it so you can line it up perfectly. Or you measure it on 2 sides and then do that, mark your lines. But what I'm going to do is just tack it in place because I love using this little tool. I just bought it the other day from Lowe's. It's a Metabo 36 volt or 18 volt nail gun. This is a pin nailer. It shoots a tiny little nail without a head. So it is perfect for working with trim molding. I'm going to tack this in place and I'll be able to pop it off, pull the nails out, and you won't even know I had them in there. You see this little gap? We're going to eliminate that by marking a line right across the top of here. And that's where we're going to cut our drywall and get it cleaned up. So we'll pull this back off. We'll see exactly where our line is and what we need to do with it. It starts tapering down and it's flush right here, almost to the end. So this is where I'm going to stop it. So I'm going to cut it all the way through because I should have a header there all the way across. So we'll score this down. And I'll just run a few scores to make it easy to pull out once I score it all the way. I'm going to go 2 3/4, and we will make it to the edge right here. That's all we need. Well, I went back in my shed and I found a scrap piece of mason board, 1/8 inch thick. So I'm going to double it up, and it's easy to cut with a razor blade. So we will tack some of this in. Just take a minute. One piece and two pieces right here. There we go. This is going to fit like a glove. So I'll take my piece, line it up. Oh yeah. Now we have a nice tight seam. And this is sitting on my wood all along the bottom. It's going to look great. Whenever you install a door, you want to keep that reveal the same. You see this gap here and it tightens up over here? They didn't do it properly. The reveal here is out, it comes tight, and then goes out again at the bottom further than the top. So you can tell they did not line everything up. They should have brought this down to where you have the same reveal as the hinge side, and then they should have lined this up to where you have the same reveal all the way down. And I show that when I install an exterior door. I'll have a link in the description box. My frame for my other door is right next to this one. So before they had it at a little different height, and it lower. I'm raising it up because I want this to be straight across, the same height on both doors. I made this length to match this. So when I do come over here, it will be a little bit higher and I'll have a little bit more of this showing, but that's fine as long as my height looks good. I'm going to just tack this in place with my little my pin nailer, just to temporarily get it where I want it, and I'll tack that one and we'll see what the length is to this, and then we'll make everything fit. Alright, same thing on this side. I want to make sure I look at the height, because I'm pushing it down on carpet. I want that height to match. In fact, I'm going to take these glasses off because I can't see. Put my reading glasses on because I can't see with those things. Like I said, just a little bitty pin nail. Well, I never claim to be the sharpest tool in the shed, and I forget things. So, if you don't have one of these pin nailers, I'm going to tell you another way to handle it. You'll take your boards and set them on the two sides after you mark where your reveal is going to go, right at the corner. That way you know the right height. You can tack it in place. If you're hand nailing it, don't hammer it all the way. Just tack it in to where it holds it there. So then, when your two sides are done, you flip your board upside down and you mark your top and you roll with it. I can set it right on top and I'll mark a line on the outside of both sides. That tells me my long point is here and my long point is there. We'll go out to the saw and cut our 90-degree angles or 45-degree cuts on that, and it should drop right in. Oh yeah, it's gonna work. I'll use a CA glue a lot of times. I really like Star Bond, but this stuff is good stuff. Great for wood. And I'm going to tack it in on the corners with my pin nailer so I don't get some nails. So I don't have to worry about that. I'll put a decent amount of glue on there. I'll wipe it off after. I'm not worried if it comes out the front. Nice alignment. I can't wait to get the window treatments in. I have a girl that's really good. We're going to go over a couple of window treatments for my windows. I'm going to case the other windows in, and it's going to be pretty sharp. I'm very careful when it comes to endorsing products. I like to check them out and make sure they work well. I've used this gun for a few years now, and it is awesome. This spray gun right here works with the texture mix. You just hook it together. It only takes seconds to set it up and seconds to break it down and clean it. This bag will last you years. You can take it and reseal it. Put the cap back on it, pull it back off the shelf 2 years from now, you mix it up and then you just spray again. If you have to do anything, the most you'll have to do is put a couple of drops of water in it to loosen it back up if it's sitting up for too long after it's been resealed. This has a long shelf life. To do orange peel texture, you need 60 PSI. So I will take this and set my gun up on it and pull the trigger and make sure it doesn't go below 60. So I'll set it up at 75 on this tank and it stays at constant 60 when I'm spraying. The great thing about this is it saves so much air. You can use a small compressor because the air only comes out when you pull the trigger. My compressor's set at 60 PSI. I plug it in, I take my bag, and I screw it on top. That's it, it's ready to go. We're gonna squeeze this lightly to get a little orange peel.
My first time doing this.
If you're doing orange peel, 60 PSI. If you're doing knockdown, 30 PSI. This mixer is really cool. You can take this, put it in a bag, whip it all up, and it will not damage the bag, but it whips it up really well. You can also use this on a 1 gallon paint bucket because it creates a vortex when it spins, so it doesn't have to touch the bottom of the bucket. You can drop it right down close to it, and it is going to spread out and create a vortex. We take a tiny cap of water. This is a Coke cap. We spray it. It's clean. Easy to clean, easy to set up. It's a no-brainer. If I do a big job and I have a spot that I saw after everything's done, I come back, touch it up, and I'm out of the door in minutes. I'll see you guys on the next project. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment so you can be a winner. I'll see y'all later.